Welcome to your Around the Peninsula. I'm Senior Airman Taylor West. Hard work always pays off. Specialist Stephen Solomon tells us about one airman who's pretty fly for a weather guy.
It wasn't storms being chased during the exercise on Kunsan Air Base, but rather a particular someone that the airmen over at the 8th Operations Support Squadron, Weather Flights, couldn't stop talking about.
Just met him a few days ago, actually, and so far he seems like an outstanding guy to meet. I'd say among us, if there was like a yearbook of us, like who's the most popular, who's the most, coolest guy, he'd be it.
He sounds like the right guy for the job. Just who is Mr. Popular? This cool and outstanding guy. He is Staff Sergeant Guy Myers.
What? Guy? That's your real name? Yeah, you heard me right.
And what does this weather guy do?
Basically, come in, get a handle, get a grip on the situation, the weather situation, get a good turnover from the guy. And basically, we got a spot here where we do everything for the airfield, so we'll coordinate the forecast for the airfield and any warnings, watches, and advisories that might have to go out. And
it's a serious job. The military can't function without it.
It's actually, whenever there's a briefing for the pilots, we're normally the first or second ones up to go, because a lot of times if the weather's bad enough and we're real confident in it, they won't even think about going the next day, so they can just scrub it as a whole. So it's pretty important overall.
It's pretty important indeed that the safety of our pilots relies on clear skies from this outstanding airman. It's a high-profile job, one that doesn't go unnoticed. Guy has been recognized for his outstanding performance.
It feels pretty good. It always feels good to be recognized for busting your buns out here, and these exercises. Yeah. This is our third week in a row of exercises, so it's nice when people realize that you're putting in work and doing everything you can for the mission.
I'm Specialist Stephen Solomon, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
The 8th OSS Weather Flights provide resource protection for Kunsan and weather support for all Kunsan aircraft. It's not easy to keep students engaged in learning and having fun at the same time. A class in Seoul American Elementary School put on a show to give their friends some tips about grammar.
After 3 months of practice, now it's time for young pirates to sail against the waves of grammar to find the treasure.
The children worked twice a week after school, and we for about an hour or so. And then we also did our Wednesday Wisdoms, which is a spot in the morning announcements. So all in all, a lot of work, but it paid off, and I think they had a great time.
The group performing on stage is the members of CSI, or the Continuous School Improvement Junior Club, which is to maintain and improve the quality of school while having students actively learn every day successfully.
So our school goal is about writing conventions and using editing skills, punctuation, and so on. So the play was just a fun way to support that. Our aim is to teach their classmates or teach their peers some tips and things that support our school goal.
Army Sergeant Kevin Spence, Yongsan, Korea.
Shauna Gann used the Pirates from Grammar Island performance as a fun way to learn, but also educate the students, parents, and community. Throughout history, from Romans to knights, and now MMA fighters, tournaments have been used to see who is the best of the best. Specialist Stephen Solomon follows modern-day warriors into a different arena.
Some people come to play.
Yes, finally a guy that can play.
And some come to win.
I think I could take this tournament.
Staff Sergeant Broderick Bryan and Staff Sergeant Lewis Hutchings. Their two worlds collide due to one ping pong tournament.
And if you think you got what it takes, come out, because I'm going to bring it.
So I have to, bring my A game out, and luckily for me, it was just enough.
He's very tactical with the ball. His placement, his spin, everything, it was awesome to play someone of that caliber, finally.
But he's really pretty good, and I think, hopefully I'll, get in contact with him and we could play some more, but I probably have to keep a lot of secrets to myself because I don't want him to learn my game too much because eventually he'll probably beat me. But I thought no one else was going to sign up too, so I was going to get an easy prize. But when he came in, I was like, wow, so this guy really knows how to play.
I just showed up to get some food, saw some people were playing, and then realized that the tournament was going on, asked if I could play, and they're like, yes, you can take so-and-so spot. So I jumped in and was happy to play.
I'm Specialist Stephen Solomon, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
Staff Sergeant Broderick Bryan and Staff Sergeant Lewis Hutchings eagerly await anyone who wants to challenge them in ping pong tournaments to come. The Expert Field Medical Badge was established in June 1965 for the recognition of field medical personnel who exemplify exceptional competence and outstanding performance. Sergeant Anthony Alcantar shows us the EFMB on the DMZ.
I think you guys are going to be straight, okay?
It can be difficult to compete for the Expert Field Medical Badge, but as Captain Ryan LaPlante assembles his M9 pistol, he starts combat testing lane 2.
I want the EFMB because I think it's a badge that shows commitment, and when I see a soldier with the EFMB, I see someone who has the mentality to be able to go into a situation and perform as best as they can.
Each day, he and his fellow candidates must fight off fatigue as they march to and between lanes.
The training that I've gone through has made me a better soldier and a better leader, because as much as it is a badge for yourself, it takes a team.
With the help of his fellow competitors, he was able to learn different tasks to include NBC operations and sending up a variety of reports.
The advice that I would give to others who want to earn the Expert Field Medical Badge is you have to prepare your mind and your body to come into this situation, and just come out and do it and get the experience, because it's going to be invaluable to you just to learn about yourself and how you react to these situations.
As Captain Ryan LaPlante crosses the finish line, he knows that he has made it. He is one of the few that have earned the prestigious Expert Field Medical Badge. Army Sergeant Anthony Alcantar, Camp Casey, Korea.
Although the historic attrition rate for the badge ranges between 5 and 25%, the difficulty of EFMB on the DMZ saw only 20 graduates. Danger doesn't always come with a visual or audible warning. Sergeant Jackie McKnight joins a unit that demonstrates how to stay safe in chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear environments.
Doesn't sound like it, but that's the sound of learning as soldiers from the 36th Signal Battalion conduct chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear training at Camp Carroll. The training also includes reacting to direct and indirect fire. Completing the mission in different levels of mission-oriented protective posture or MOP gear adds extra sweat to the training.
I'd have to say running with the gallons and the MOP suit, MOP level 2. It's pretty hot. And it gets hotter the more you run.
The soldiers receive an objective to complete under stress, all while under the threat of a sea-burn attack.
The hardest part of my job is make sure everyone's okay, like making sure like nobody's injured, making sure that I have everybody that I came in with.
At the end of the day, the soldiers get a refresher on why sea-burn training is important by going through the gas chamber.
Definitely not excited for the gas chamber, but, you know, looking forward to completing it, but not excited for it, just so I could get it done.
The soldiers test their gas mask in the chamber as well as receive a good reminder of why you want to protect yourself under a sea-burn threat. Army Sergeant Jackie McKnight, Camp Carroll, Korea.
The Republic of Korea Army Sergeant Major is also there to watch the training. Separating from the military can be a stressful and busy time. Senior Airman Jordan Thompson explains why updating your information in MyPay can help service members down the road.
The Defense Finance and Accounting Service wants all service members to update information in MyPay, especially prior to separating. This is critical to receive financial notifications and many other services that are provided by DFAS.
Just in case DFAS needs to get a hold of them for any kind of financial information, like mailing their W-2s or any kind of notifications for debts or whatnot. Those are the kind of issues that DFAS likes to get to the member, and it's very time sensitive.
Ensuring that you have access to MyPay and your information is current prior to separating can drastically affect the outcome of your military to civilian transition, as you won't be able to do so after separating. However, DFAS has made the whole process very simple.
It's so easy to update your information in MyPay. Just log on to www.dfas.mil and you'll have a link there for MyPay. And from there you could update your personal information.
Service members can also stop by their local finance office for assistance. Reporting from Osan Air Base, Korea, I'm Senior Airman Jordan Thompson.
You can also access MyPay through the Air Force portal. That was your Around the Peninsula for this week. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.